Is this new 5th generation Sportage the best ever? Well, Kia have sold over 420,000 Sportages since they unveiled the original Sportage. Last year they sold over 40,000 in the UK, and this year already they've sold around 30,000. That's before this 5th generation even came out. So the Sportage is Kia's biggest success. So have they made it better? Is it more refined? Does it look better? Let's find out. Let's start off talking about the design here. So this is the Pure, this is the entry trim, and really if you compare 3 different trims, they all look very similar. The only slight differences at the front here are down here. You see this lower bumper doesn't have the same design as the other bumpers on the GT Line and GT Line S. This is the GT Line and that's the GT Line S, and you can see the way the fog lights are incorporated into this bit of the bumper, and then they're a bit more sculpted, whereas here it's kind of a more flat area. Other than that, it's very hard to tell the difference. All 3 trims have the same LED star map lighting design. They have the same daytime running lights and built on the same N3 platform as Kia's other latest models, with the same design language as well. The new 5th generation Sportage is based on Kia's latest N3 platform, which is the same as all their latest cars, and you can see that family resemblance with the same design at the front. Like I said, these daytime running lights and the light design is very reminiscent of the EV9, the EV4, the EV3, basically every other car which Kia makes. So you know it's a Kia coming behind you. The only difference is with the trim is the lower bumper here at the front. Let's talk the specs of these cars. So all 3 trims are available as either internal combustion engine cars or as hybrid electric vehicles, and there are plug-in versions coming soon. They're not available as of this video. That means you have an option whether you want to have that hybrid assistance to give you better range and better economy, or whether you want to go for one of the petrol engines. The price and the performance obviously is affected by what you go for. All versions of this car come with a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder. The internal combustion version of this car gives you 137 horsepower, whereas the hybrid version, which includes an electric battery and an electric motor, gives you 235 horsepower. Depending on what trim you have, you can either have a 6-speed manual, 6-speed automatic, 7-speed automatic, or you can have an all-wheel drive version as well. So really you have a lot of choice and customizability when you're choosing your model of car. Is there a difference on the road? Well, we'll find out a bit later, like I said. The rear of this car is really a mirror of the front. The Pure version has a much more plain rear bumper, whereas the GT Line and GT Line S have a separate area here where the rear reflectors are, and a more interesting bumper design. Again, very hard to tell the difference. In terms of the lights, they're exactly the same on all 3 trims. This new Kia design, which again mirrors the front design in reverse. So it's an attractive looking back, an attractive looking front, but it is very much a small development on the 4th generation Kia Sportage. You will know this is a Sportage, and you will know it's a newer version of Sportage. You're not going to look at it and go, what is that? And that is a really, really good thing when companies do that, because it basically builds their brand more. And we know that Kia have been making some exceptionally good cars. And this is a continuation as their best-selling and most popular car. Here in the rear of the Sportage, we have 591 litres of space, which doesn't disappoint, meaning there's plenty of room for you to put whatever you need in the back here. There is a 12-volt back here, and there are hooks and tether points. This also lifts up, and there's a small space here for tyre repair kits. This isn't storage like in an EV, but there is a bit of space. There's some trays here where you could conceivably put some things if you had them. And you can also put the back seats down from here with this button. If you do that, they will drop down, which makes it very easy for you to put stuff through. We've got a nice loading area here as well, so there won't be any scratching or anything when you put something in the car. And it's actually quite low as well, so really made for convenience and practicality in mind. And this area here, this tonneau cover, can come off and you can put it in if you need the extra room. So probably actually fit your dog in the back here as well, so that's really good as well. So people can put their pets in the back if you have an all-weather cover to make sure it doesn't get muddy back here. The new Sportage is available with 17, 18 or 19-inch wheels. These are the 19-inch wheels. The entry level comes in with the 17-inch wheels. It does make a difference, and it does also help with your road handling, and we'll test it out a bit later. The Sportage is super customizable. You can choose your transmission, automatic, manual. Do you want it to have all-wheel drive or not? Do you want 17, 18, 19-inch wheels? There's a lot of options. Hybrid, internal combustion only, eventually plug-in hybrid. There is a lot of customizability in this range of cars. If you're wondering how much the new Sportage costs, the Pure here starts at £30,800, and the GT Line S is around the £43,000 mark for the top trim. So between 30 and 40, there's definitely a price point in it for you, and Kia always do some good offers with finance. So I think good value for what you get with these cars. You get a lot of car for a really good value price. Let's compare interiors now. I'm sitting here in the Pure, the entry level for this car, and we've got a very expected Kia interior, which feels nice and high quality. This car has a 6-speed manual transmission, which is very, very easy to use. And we've got the big 12.3-inch infotainment screen here. And we've also got a digital driver's display too, which is really, really easy to use. We've got their multi-mode controls here, so you can go between your climate control and your infotainment system, which is really, really good and easy to use, and which I like a lot, and it's always a good feature. Let's compare it now to the inside of the GT Line and the GT Line S. Here in the GT Line S, there are some differences, namely this area right here. On the Pure, that was an open area where there was a little space, and then you had your manual transmission. Here now we've got our automatic transmission, so we've got a more bulky area. There's still storage space here. There's more USB connections down here. We have heated and cooled seats, and we also have steering wheel heating as well. We've got our circular automatic transmission, very normal for Kia, and we've got our cool pop-out cup holders, which I like a lot. The interior here obviously feels more premium. We've got more premium seat designs, and they're multicolored as well, and the steering wheel has that same multicolored design, but it's the same car. This, yes, does feel more premium, but day-to-day driving, I'm not sure necessarily you would know the difference, especially if you're not comparing them. But if you want to get a GT Line or a GT Line S with even more features, then it's here for you, and you can do that. This is a very, very comfortable interior, and it feels higher quality, but this is the more premium version and trim of the car. What I want to point out is that between the Pure, which is behind the camera, and the GT Line S and the GT Line, the differences are quite small. You're getting an amazing value car with the Pure, but if you want to get a GT Line or a GT Line S with even more features, then it's here for you, and you can do that. This is a very, very comfortable interior, and it feels higher quality, but this is the more premium version and trim of the car. The rear of the Sportage just lives up to what you would expect. There's a cool little hook here where you can hook stuff to. We've got our USB-C on the side of the seats. We've got climate control here and comfortable seats. I'm 1.78 meters, and I've got about this much space above my head, and I've got about this much space in front of my knees, and you could fit a third person in the middle here. In this particular model, we can also have an armrest here. We also have a panoramic glass sunroof above me here in this car. Depending on what trim you have, you may or may not have it. That lets a lot of light in. The rear of this car is exactly the same for all three models. In the hybrid version, it may be that space might be eaten into slightly by the extra battery, but we'll have to see when we get down to that. Right now, comfortable, airy, just what you could want in the back of your comfortable family SUV. Let's have a look at the infotainment system here. So it is very familiar, but there are some changes which you might have just noticed there on this new version of Kia's infotainment system. So we do, of course, still have our maps, still have our radio, we still have these widgets on the front screen that you can get to and you can customize. And what's great about this is you now have access to new apps such as Amazon Music and SoundCloud. We obviously have YouTube and LG Web OS, which gives us access to Netflix, Disney Plus, TikTok. And the top entertainment package, the Entertainment Plus Wi-Fi, also creates a personal hotspot so you can keep your whole family connected. So what that means is music streaming, we have Amazon Music and SoundCloud. With the Entertainment Standard package, we have YouTube along with that music streaming. With the Entertainment Plus, we have the music streaming from Amazon and SoundCloud plus YouTube, and LG Web OS with Netflix, Disney Plus and TikTok. And with the top upgrade via the Kia Connect store, we have also the car Wi-Fi Obviously, you do need to subscribe to Netflix or Disney Plus to access it, but it means that you have a car which is not an EV, but has lots of cool extra features, which you normally don't get in cars which aren't EV. So that's really, really nice to see from Kia. Other than that, everything else here is pretty much to be expected. One thing we do have, which I do like, is like with all new Kias, we have the car key, which works with your phone. And so you can have a digital key. If we go into maps, it will calculate routes to get to places where you might want to go, and it will give you the distance. Will start now. And it works like that, totally like you would expect it to work. Very simple. I still prefer to use Google Maps on my phone using Android Auto, which just works better. But that is what the infotainment system looks like. Let's talk about the safety features of this car. So if we go into settings, we can see here the various options. If we go into vehicle, you can see our digital key that I mentioned, which allows you to use your phone as a key. But then we also have our driver assistance. Now these cars come with a lot of driver assistance technology. As you can see, we've got adaptive cruise control, we've got lane assist, we've got speed limit assist, we've got parking features as well. There's a lot of features, and all the latest safety features are included on this car as well. Let's start off in the Pure. Now this is the entry level. However, this is the hybrid Pure, so it's not actually the least expensive model in the range. This is actually the next one up because it's a hybrid. It's got 235 horsepower. How does it drive? And does it feel quite sporty? 235 horsepower. You know what? In sport mode now, which I'm in, it's pretty nippy. It's pretty nippy. I'm pretty impressed with how this feels. It feels very, very nice. It's comfortable to ride. The suspension feels good. I'm going over the bumps. I mean, this road is pretty straight, but overall, I feel really high up. I got good visibility. I've got good road position. The seats are comfortable. Again, these are not the premium seats, but they're manual, but they're still comfortable. There's no lumbar support on them, but you can adjust them backwards and forwards. The only reason to change off is you want some heated seats. That's it. I mean, you know, we got the same power as the GT Line S. We do lack some of the high-end features, but it's really, really comfortable, and it's really, really good. It's got everything you can want. It's got all the safety systems. It's got everything. I can understand why you would want the manual Pure, because it is manual and because it does come in at a lower price point. But after that, why not just get this? Why not get the Pure Hybrid? It's got the same power, it's got the same speed. It's very comfortable. Let's test the 0 to 60 time. Go, 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 go. I'm in sport mode. It was a bit slow responding. However, it has done 0 to 60 in a very, very respectable 5.97 seconds. So 230 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.97 seconds. That's good. Now I'm in the entry level Pure, which is a manual, which means I have to change gears like this. And also I've got 147 horsepower. So I've got less power than I did in the automatic version of the car. So this is the Pure, and it is more basic. Now that this center area is gone, you can feel it's a bit less premium feeling in here. Of course, this does have a manual gearbox, so I'm having to change gears. And to be honest, I've forgotten what it's like to drive in a manual car because my car is a manual. Most cars aren't manual. The top of the spec cars aren't manual either. And if you have an EV, it's definitely not manual. Manual is rare, but you have it, and it's £30,000 for this car in manual. And to be honest, this manual gearbox is actually very smooth. I'm driving here, I'm changing gear a bit unnecessarily, if I'm honest with you, but it's very smooth and easy to change gear, and it's nice and grippy. It's not sporty, but it's grippy and it does the job. So good manual gearbox. Again, when driving this car, nothing feels any different. If I'm honest with you, the suspension still feels just as nice. The handling feels just as good. There's no 360-degree camera on this car, but it still has a normal reversing camera. There are no electric seats on this car, but overall, again, it does exactly what you would expect. And it's very smooth. Now the range on here isn't as good. In the hybrid model, I was seeing about 445 miles on an almost full tank. Right now in this car, I'm seeing 334 miles on an almost full tank. So it seems like there is about 100 miles difference in range according to the trip computer when you have the hybrid version of this and you have the manual version of this. So something worth considering. Is it that big a difference? Not really. In the real world, you put petrol in, you don't have any concerns about charging or anything like that, so it doesn't really make a difference, but interesting to know. But what I also like to know is how fast this car can do 0 to 60, because it is a manual and I will have to change gears as well. So let's test that out. Let's check the 0 to 60 time and see if I'm any better. So that's better. 10 seconds. 10 seconds 0 to 60. I tried it once before and I did it in 13. I was terrible at changing gears. I got better at changing gears now because I'm not used to driving a manual car. It's easy to change gears, but if you're not used to accelerating in manual, then it's a bit harder to do it. So about 10 seconds. So Kia says about 9.7 seconds. I did it in 10.14. So I'm sure they're 9.7 seconds, so just about under 10 seconds is very accurate. This GT Line S model is a top spec point for these cars. It's coming in at £43,000, and we've got electric seats. We've got heated seats. We've got a heated steering wheel. We've got this nice two-tone fake leather pleather. We've got suede on the seats, which feel a bit more comfortable because they've got lumbar support as well, so you can adjust them. We've got head-up display. We've got a 360-degree camera, and this version is the all-wheel drive version as well, which means we get even better, and we've got different terrain modes. So in this car we can actually press the terrain mode button and go through snow, mud and sand. So if you want to drive this off-road, you can do, and you have a few different settings which allow you to adjust it for the various grip conditions in those situations. But other than that, this feels and drives exactly the same. And really, that's really important to keep in mind, that this car is very much a car which is designed to be comfortable no matter how you drive it. Now, what about range? So right now I'm getting 280 miles of range, but I've got about half a tank. So I think this will come in at a similar 400-ish miles, just like the hybrid Pure did. If you're wondering about how big the battery is in these hybrid models, it's a 1.47 kilowatt hour battery. So it's a small battery which puts out 44.7 kilowatts of power. So it really does boost the internal combustion engine, like I said, up to around 230 horsepower and 265 Newton meters of torque. Now we're in the GT Line S. We're in the most highly spec'd top of the range model, which comes in at £43,000 approximately. If we put this into sport mode, we've got eco and sport mode in here. And again, because it's automatic, we don't need to change gears, so it means it's easier to drive. Automatic is 100% easier to drive. I know if you're a purist, you like manual, but this is just much easier, much more comfortable, much more relaxing. It's just an easy way of driving a car. Let's be honest. There's no argument whatsoever about that. But I'm curious to know that it drives very similar. And in these conditions, which are dry and clear, I'm not going to be able to test really the grip on this all-wheel drive system. Although the top speed and the power is the same, so it's not going to be a faster car, in terms of the actual launch and acceleration, initially it was faster. So, which is what you expect from an all-wheel drive car. And I'm sure in conditions where that was important, where it was snowy or muddy, then having that setting and that all-wheel drive would be helpful. Is it worth the extra £13,000? That's up to you to decide, but keep in mind that finance deals may mean that the actual difference doesn't cost a lot in the terms of monthly payment. So worth checking out, and Kia may have some deals going on. Kia expects this model, the GT Line Hybrid, to be the most popular out of the entire range. It's obviously got the efficiency of the hybrid, it's also got the full power, but the GT Line S is still a step up with electric seats, with that panoramic sunroof, with a 360 camera, and with other features which this car doesn't have. But really, there is no difference between driving these cars. If you've been watching me drive these cars, well done, thank you for coming with me, but I can confirm all the trims feel and drive exactly the same. They're comfortable, they're quick enough, they're efficient, and depending on the trim, you have various levels of advanced technology. And this car is just going to be as fast as the GT Line S and as a Pure in the hybrid version with the same 230 or so horsepower. So that's these cars. Where is the sweet spot? I don't know, because I think they're all so good and I think they're all quite closely priced, and I think on finance they're going to end up being very similar in costs. So if you can stretch to the top of the range GT Line S, then absolutely. However, if you want to have the in the middle ground, if you want to have a nicer interior, you want to have heated seats and a heated steering wheel, then yeah, the GT Line S is the way to go. Buy one of these. But if you're happy with the basics and you want to save the money, then the Pure is fantastic, even in manual. So what do I make of the new Sportage? Well, this is even better than the last one. Kia have improved on all the small things and made these cars even better. If you check out a new Sportage, you're going to be very, very happy with what you get. These are fantastic cars and great value, no matter what trim you go for. If you're interested in other SUVs like these, please click here and here. And don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.